Hi, Charles here, migration agent. Today, a few words about how to get points, additional points for skilled visa. It's about 189, 190, 489 visas, all right? So first of all, you would have to make sure that your occupation is eligible for any of those visas. But let's assume you did your homework, you have checked, and you are eligible for any of those visas, and you have checked your points. So make sure that you will like us or follow us on the Facebook, so you will get the new information once it will become available. Occupation is on the list. Your age, that's where you can get the points. So sometimes waiting until you will get older will give you less points. 25, 32 years old, that's where you can get 30 points. Level of your English, this one is big. IELTS 6 or equivalent, which is competent English, that's absolute minimum you need to have to be considered for this visa. So most of the people would have to sit an English test, apart from those who are having the passport of UK, USA, Ireland, Canada, or New Zealand. Those people don't have to sit an English test, surprisingly, even if they don't speak English. However, if they want to get additional points for the level of their English, they need to pass an English test on the higher level. IELTS 7 or equivalent. Proficient English will give 10 points. So 10 points, it's big. 20 points for superior English, that's even bigger. So that's probably the best option to get additional points. IELTS 7 or equivalent proficient English, 10 points. Let's say you passed an English on competent level. Skilled employment in last 10 years. It's last 10 years. So it's 10 years from the date, 10 years counting backwards from the date of the invitation, okay, for the visa. So 3-4 years outside of Australia is giving you 5 points. However, 1 year in Australia is giving you 5 points as well. So 3 years outside of Australia, 1 year in Australia. So working 1 year in Australia is giving you 5 points. But please remember it's skilled employment. So if you're working while you are studying, that normally would not give you the points because it's not considered skilled employment. Of course, if you are studying towards your occupation. If you already have got your skills because you have studied before, now you are studying something else, working during this study when you are already skilled, that's fine. Full-time employment for 189, 190, 489 visa, it's 20 hours per week, which is quite great because for the other visas it would be considered as the part-time. So 1 year working in Australia, you would have to have a visa which is allowing you to work. Remember about that. It would give you additional 5 points. So that's something worth to consider. Qualifications. It is as it is. Okay, diploma, bachelor, PhD. So to get to the bachelor, once you will, if you finish diploma and if you want to get another 5 points for qualifications, doing a bachelor will give you 15 points, but then you will have to study for another 2 years at least to get these 15 points. 2 years, right? So in these 2 years, 5 points for the bachelor. Then within these 2 years, you might have worked. That will give you another 5 points for your skin deployment in Australia. Could be a pathway, but quite lengthy. Australian study requirements. So here's another one. If you're really after the points, if you haven't studied in Australia, and once you do the bachelor, see, 2 years upskilling from diploma to bachelor, 5 points over here. Study in Australia, another 5 points over here. Education in regional Australia. So that's another one. If you would study in regional Australia, if you study in so-called regional Australia, that will give you another 5 points. So studying in Australia can give you, say, 15 points. From diploma to bachelor, 5 points extra. Studying in Australia, 5 points extra. Studying regional Australia, another 5 points. And if you would have worked in this time, from not working in Australia to 1 up to 2 years working in Australia, that's another 5 points. So 2 years studying in Australia can give you additional 20 points. All right. Specialist education qualifications. This is quite specific. It's about STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and you would have to get the masters, but not every masters can qualify you, or a PhD. So it's very specific. I would say it's a case by case basis. We would have to check whether you would qualify for this one. This one is interesting. NAATI. Accredited in a community language. Years ago, it was enough that you spoke the other language than English, you would get 5 points. Then it have changed. You would have to get the status of the translator, so you would have to pass the NAATI test. And what NAATI did recently, they introduced CCL testing. If you will pass this test, it will give you 5 points for accredited community language, but you will not be considered a translator. It's quite popular, and you can go to the NAATI website or just Google CCL testing and then go to their website, and there is quite comprehensive information what it is. It's worth to consider if you are looking for additional 5 points. Once you will pass the test, you will get the points. You will get the documents from them, which will have to be considered by the department to give you additional 5 points. Where is it? Over here, accredited in a community language. All right. So CCL testing from the NAATI, that's the one to go. Partner skill qualifications. If your partner has got the skills in the occupation which is on the same list of occupation as yours, you can get additional 5 points for your partner skills. Your partner would have to get the skills assessment, pass an English test on at least IL6 competent level, and be younger than 45 years old, so up to 44. So you can climb another 5 points. Professional year in Australia. This one is just for accountants and IT people. You'd have to study in Australia, and then after studying in Australia, you would get the 485 visa. And once you would be on the 485 visa, you might do the professional year. So this is quite interesting because have a look. Study requirement. Studying in Australia, 5 points. Education in regional Australia, another 5 points. Bachelor, 5 points. 1 year of working in Australia, another 5 points. And you can do the professional year, which would give you the 5 points. And if you're doing the professional year, quite often this could be considered also as skilled employment, right? So after studying in Australia on the 485 visa, you can get extra points. It's quite lengthy process. So let's say 2 years of studying bachelor, then another 2 years on the 485 visa. On the 485 visa, you can work full time. You can do the professional year. Quite lengthy process, but you can get another 25 points, right? So that's something which you may consider if you really don't have enough points, if you don't have points, right? So that's the one. So play with this. To check if you will get enough points. Let's say you will get 65 points. For 189, as I've mentioned, it's not enough because 70 is absolute minimum to be considered for the invitation. But those occupations which are eligible for 189 as usually also are always also eligible for 190. However, you would need to get the state nomination. And with the state nomination, you can get extra 5 points or 10 points. 5 points for 190 visa and 10 points for 489 visa. So let's say you have got 60 points in total, which is not enough to be considered for any of those 189, 190, 489 visas. So state nomination is something which can give you extra points. 190 visa, 5 points. 489, 10 points. Each and every state has got their own list of occupations, and each and every state has got their own criteria. They just want to make sure that the person who is nominated by them will be living in that particular state. So you would have to check with the states whether your occupation is being nominated by those states. So essentially, yep, play with this where you can get additional points. Think worth to note, if you will be playing with the skilled employment, let's say you will be waiting for another 2 years to get 10 points for your work experience outside of Australia, you might get older and you may lose points over here. So always check your age if you will still get the points in next couple of years. With waiting for another couple of years, bear in mind that the list of occupations is being changed every couple of months. So if your occupation is on the list today, there is no guarantee it's going to be on the list in another couple of years. But it works also the other way. If your occupation is not on the list today, it might become available sometime in the future. So essentially, I'm more than happy to check what we can do with your skills and experience to get your visa to Australia. If you want to get assessment done, feel free to book a consultation over here or on the bottom. You can book it over here. So it's paid. It's paid. I don't do that for free usually. So once you will pay for the consultation, I will do the full assessment and we'll see what sort of visa we can apply for you. Don't forget to like us on the Facebook, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.